All right, let's talk about something we've all faced. You know that feeling when you're trying to get your team to adopt a new process and it feels like you're herding cats? Yeah, it's one of the toughest parts of being a manager. Well, today we're going to tackle that head on with some amazing advice from the risk doctor about a challenge that comes up all the time. So let's get right into it.
So, does this sound familiar to you? This is a real question from a self-described frustrated project manager. And I bet we've all heard some version of this. It's that classic line, right? We're too busy for this. So the question is, what do you even say to that? How do you handle it when your team just shuts you down like that?
And the risk doctor's response just hits the nail on the head. It's so simple, but so powerful. Basically, if you're too busy for risk management, you're just too busy, period. Think about it. Anyone who says they don't have time to look for problems ahead of time always finds the time to clean up the mess when those problems blow up later. And that's the big idea we're going to dig into today.
Okay, so here's the thing. That whole too busy excuse, it's not really about not having enough hours in the day. It's a perspective problem. It all comes from this basic misunderstanding of what risk management even is and, what its role is in a project.
And this really breaks it down.
On the one hand, you have your team's view. They see risk management as this extra thing, another box to tick, something you just slap on at the end. But the reality, where we need to get them, is that it's just a normal part of the project. It's not an extra. It's a task just like any other task they're already doing. So the big question is, how do you actually make that shift happen? Well, the good news is the risk doctor lays out a super clear, step-by-step game plan. It's an 8-step framework that's designed to take your team from no way, we're too busy, to actually getting on board with it.
So here they are, all 8 steps. We're going to break each one of these down in just a second, but it's great to see the whole roadmap right here. You can already see it's this great mix of laying down the law, making things easy, and then proving that it actually works.
Okay, let's start with part 1. These first 4 steps are all about setting the foundation. You gotta get this right first. This is where you make it crystal clear that risk management isn't optional. It's just part of the way we work around here, right from the very beginning. First step, mandate it. Look, sometimes you just have to lay down the law. This isn't a friendly suggestion, it's a requirement. And if you can point to official company policy that backs you up, even better. That completely changes the conversation from, should we, to, okay, so how are we going to do this? Step 2 is absolutely critical. Simplify it. Seriously, if your process is a bureaucratic nightmare of forms and meetings, your team is going to check out before you even start. You have to cut the fat, keep it lean. Short meetings, simple forms, and here's the key. Only ask for information you're actually going to use. If it's not useful, get rid of it. Number 3, normalize it. This goes right back to that mindset shift we talked about. You want to weave this into the fabric of your project. Talk about risk in your regular stand-ups. Put risk tasks on the project plan, right next to everything else. When it just becomes part of the normal routine, that too busy argument starts to sound pretty silly. And the last piece of our foundation, number 4, demonstrate it. It's simple, really. You have to lead by example. If you, the project manager, are constantly talking about risk, identifying threats, and looking for opportunities, your team will pick up on that. They'll see it's important to you, and they're way more likely to get on board. All right, so you've built a solid foundation. But how do you make sure it doesn't all fall apart in a few weeks? How do you make it stick? Well, that's what part 2 is all about. These next 4 steps are how you turn this from just another chore into a real, lasting habit. Step 5 is huge. You have to actually use it. I mean, think about it. If your team puts in the effort to identify all these risks, and then that information just sits in a folder somewhere collecting digital dust, they're going to think it's a complete waste of time. You have to connect the dots for them. Show them, hey, because of that risk you found, we're changing our strategy. That's when they start to buy in. Next up, number 6, update it. This isn't a set it and forget it exercise. A risk register you made in the first week of the project is pretty much worthless 3 months later if you haven't touched it. You have to keep it alive. Review it regularly. Keep it current. That sends a powerful message that this is a living, breathing part of the project. Okay, number 7. This one might be my favorite. Celebrate it. You've got to find those wins and shout them from the rooftops. When your team's planning helps you dodge a huge problem, you need to tell that story. When you grab an opportunity that no one else saw coming, highlight it. Nothing builds momentum like success, right? Success breeds more success. And finally, step 8, pull it. What does that mean? It means getting the higher ups on your side. Get them to ask for the risk information. Because when the boss's boss starts asking about the risk register in a review meeting, suddenly everyone on the team sits up a little straighter. They realize, oh, this isn't just our manager's thing. This is important to the whole company.
So, what's the payoff after you do all this? What's the end result? It's a complete transformation. You take a team that was resisting and complaining, and you turn them into a group that sees real, tangible benefits. They're not just avoiding problems, they're making the project better.
Just imagine this for a second. This is what celebrating it really looks like. It's that moment in a team meeting when you can say, hey, everyone, you know that risk we talked about 3 months ago? Well, it almost happened this week, but because of our plan, we dodged a massive bullet that could have wrecked this whole project. I mean, how powerful is that? That's a moment that makes the whole team feel like heroes.
And really, that's the whole point. This is the goal. You don't want a team that's just going through the motions, reluctantly filling out forms because you told them to. You want a team that's actively engaged, a team that wants to do this because they've seen for themselves that it actually works. They see that it makes their own lives easier and helps them win.
So that brings us to the final thought I want to leave you with, something to think about for your own team. It's so easy for a team to just be busy. We're all busy, right? But the real question is, are they busy being effective? A framework like this is what separates the two. It makes sure all that busyness is actually focused on what's going to make the project a success.